Hey everyone. So today I'm chatting with Cas Watene from Cas Cakery up in Queensland. Hey Cas, how you going?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So I'll just start off with a few questions for you. Firstly, what I ask everyone, how did you get into cakes?
Well, I think like a lot of cake decorators that have children, I did some of my children's cakes and they were just Woolworths mud cake hacks, by the way. And then I posted them on Facebook and then I had a couple of people contact me and say, oh, can you make a cake for my child? And I was like, yeah, sure, if you cover the cost. Quickly learned they were a lot more expensive than I thought when you actually add up the costs.
Don't we all?
And then it kind of escalated from there. And then I had more and more inquiries, and I was like, oh, I should probably learn to bake. Not that I didn't know how to, but I was like, I should try and, get the recipe sorted. So then I kind of started experimenting with recipes. And I had a Thermomix, so I just experimented with Thermomix recipes. And I think I learnt pretty early on that I liked mud cake because I was like, oh, so much easier to bake in advance and having small children and all that sort of thing. And so that's how I kind of started to develop my recipes that I use now was from that. And then I got reported to council by someone and they knocked on my door and were like, we've seen your cakes on Facebook. And I was like, okay, but they were only on my personal wall, so I still don't know who it is, but I wish that I did know because I would literally thank them, because if I hadn't been reported and they had knocked on my door, I wouldn't have set up a proper business. And I'm celebrating 4 years of an actual business in April this year.
Wow, that's awesome. So it's kind of every beginner's or every hobbyist's worst nightmare, I guess, when you're not council registered to then have someone report you. Like, yeah. But I guess things have to hit the wall before they can turn around. Yeah,
I think so. And it was kind of like one of those like pivotal moments where I was like, do I just give this up? Because I honestly didn't think I was at the point where I should be charging people proper money and be a business. So it was kind of like at that point where I was like, I either just give it up or just knuckle down and make it a business. And obviously I chose to knuckle down and make it a business. Yeah. And I've been booked out ever since, like my first week.
So what made you just start to video, like, you're piping cupcakes and your drizzle videos?
Oh, well, because I was at my hairdresser and she was like, oh, you should video your cupcakes. She's like, it's really therapeutic. I watch videos on Instagram all the time. And I think this was when IGTV, this was like way before Reels. I think IGTVs were starting to get kind of popular around that time. And so I just did like time lapses on my phone. But obviously the longer your video is, when you do a time lapse on your phone, it speeds it up super fast. So then I was like, oh, and then so I just kind of like played around with different editing videos so that I could speed it up but not have it like going so fast that you can't see anything. And it kind of just went from there. And then Caking It Up reached out to me and asked if I would do some videos for her stenciling, like as a paid thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've made it in the cake. I think I had like 1,000 followers, and within the first day of her like sharing one of my videos, I think I got like 1,000 followers overnight. And I was like, this is nuts. And when I look back at those videos, I'm like, oh, that's so bad. But I think because also back then a lot of stenciling was done with royal icing, and so obviously Karen from Caking Up wanted people to see that you could use buttercream. And because I didn't use anything else but buttercream, I didn't even really know, oh yeah, this is cool that you can do it. I was just like, it's the only medium I work with. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to give it a go.
Have a go. Yeah, why not? That's awesome. So is there anything else that you want to learn within your business? Are we going to see you putting fondant on a cake anytime soon, or is it just a strictly ermine thing?
Well, I'm very comfortable with ermine. I can do everything with it that I need to, but I do feel like down the track, I feel like I would like to do like a fondant beginner class of how to cover a cake with fondant, only because petrifies me and I feel like I should do something to scare me.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I'm predominantly a fondant decorator, so I can tell you, once you've done it and you've practiced it, you'll be fine. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So you'll be fine. And so do you have like a cake hero, or if you could pick someone that you are completely inspired by, or someone that you could, in the cake world, that you could sit and have lunch with, who would you pick?
I really love Leombre Creations, and hopefully I said that right. And I just love her style. She's got like her own unique style, and she's also quite versatile, because she can do, like, obviously I've seen her do bolder cakes, but you can always tell her cakes, like when they come up on your feed, she's just got this style. And I love the way she like arranges her florals, and just she can do muted tones so well.
Yes.
I really love her work, and I spent one night scrolling all the way back to the very beginning, and I messaged her. I was like, I just scrolled all the way back through your grid. I was like, oh my gosh, like, you're amazing what you've done. And I think she'd been doing it for like 6 years or something. And I think when you can see where people start and where they are, and know that they're only going to keep getting better, I think that's really inspiring, because it kind of is like, oh, I can just keep getting better and better. There's nothing stopping me from, getting better at what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And having it go and just practice, I think, is amazing. So do you have a favorite style of your own, or a favorite, I guess, tool, like, or a favorite stencil, because you do a lot of stenciling? Do you have anything that you just love doing the most?
I do like piping. I think everyone knows that. I really do like doing the letter cakes. I love that, like, you can kind of like do any color scheme, and like, I do particularly like doing the pastel ones with florals though. Like, I really, really love them. And just like kind of watching it come together, like having the idea in your head and watching it come together. But I do love floral stencil cakes. When people are just like, I just want something pretty and girly, and like, you do you, and I'm like, yes. I always like kind of, and Karen's just given me some new acrylic stencils that are coming out, and they are amazing. And when they arrived, I used 5 of them in the one day. So like, I think stencils are great, because and especially for buttercream, because I know with fondant you can do so many different things with like texture and like making things look a certain way, that I feel like stencils are really good for buttercream decorators to kind of add detail to their cake through stenciling. So I must admit, I do really love stenciling, and that was kind of what like got me into the videos, I guess, really, was doing stenciling videos. So yeah, if it wasn't for caking up and stencils, I wouldn't even probably be where I am right now.
Yeah, love Cas. She's a legend. And so what do you think has been your biggest caking fail since you started? Have you got a professional moment, like where it was for a client?
I decorated a cake a month early. And it was like this, it was like a rosette, ombre rosette 2-tier, like in shades of purple. It took me forever to pipe all the rosettes, and I sent the lady a message and was like, okay, cake, like, what time did you want to collect it this afternoon, sort of thing. And then she was like, oh, does it freeze? And I was like, yeah, but you don't need to freeze it. And she was like, oh, it's next month. And I was like, damn it. And then I couldn't even do her actual cake on the proper day, because my nan passed away and I went down to Tasmania for the funeral. So yeah, I ended up just selling it off on Facebook cheap to get rid of it. But like, I think that was kind of a lesson. Oh, and I have forgotten a cake once. Somebody messaged me and I'm like, oh, just to confirm, I can pick up this afternoon. I was like, oh, hadn't even baked it.
That is a worst nightmare.
And then I just was like, oh, is there a possibility you could maybe collect it in the morning? And she was like, oh yeah, no worries, the party's not till tomorrow. And I was like, baking, frantically put it in the freezer to cool down, and like had it fully decorated so she could pick it up the next morning, and she was none the wiser. But yeah, Jared was like, what the hell, Kathy?
Yeah. We've
but
all
I
had those
just
moments.
I know. I think when you're a mom and you're like trying to juggle business and home, sometimes you just have those moments where you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, absolutely. And so are you organized? I mean, you look very organized in your videos, and everything kind of looks in place. Are you
generally? Generally.
Yeah.
I like to be organized. I like to have obviously being a mum of 4 kids, like organization is key to having a successful week. And when I'm not super organized, then I get a bit like crap hits the fan, and I don't really like that. Don't do well under that sort of environment. But I try to do all my work when the kids are at school. So like Monday, Tuesdays, I generally don't work. And then Wednesday's like my baking day where I'll just bake all day long. And then Thursday, Friday, I like decorating days. And obviously if cake's getting picked up Friday, then they're my priority on Thursday. And then the Saturday cakes are my priority Friday. And if I do happen to have a Sunday pick up or whatever, I'll do the finishing touches on Saturday for them to be picked up. So I do and I think also like being in rural, obviously, a lot of stuff I have to buy online. Like I don't have access to a cake supply shop. So I always just buy in bulk and just have like lots of whatever I need on hand so that I've just got it ready to go. It's just not, and especially like you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, look at what happened with the flooding and that sort of thing, and COVID delays with postage. So yeah, being organised, especially being rural, like with toppers and that sort of thing. Jared's coming and going, sorry. I definitely do like to stay on top of all of that stuff and be organised.
Yeah, awesome. And so where do you think, where is next for your business? I did read that you're building a new classroom.
Yeah, so we're relocating to Ringadan West, which is just outside of Toowoomba, at the end of this year. We're building a cake studio. Jared is leaving his job in the mines, and he's going to be working full-time on the business with me. We're going to go into production of our own templates because at the moment we're using a supplier. And he's got some big plans that he wants to do within that himself. And I'm like letting him just take over that. And he'll be like running my website and online orders, as in like physical products, which is great because that kind of leaves me just to be able to do cakes and focus on Instagram and the stuff that I want to do.
Yep. That's amazing. Yep. Sounds amazing. Really exciting stuff. Mm-hmm. And so other than that, is there anything else coming up?
Oh, I've got 2 online tutorials releasing on the 10th of March, which is Jared's birthday. I figured it was a nice birthday present for him. So I'm doing a cupcake piping course and a template cake, which obviously I felt the template, so they go hand in hand. And just with like obviously being a mum, with COVID, with everything that's happened, like traveling around, ideally I'd love to just travel around Australia and do in-person teaching because I really love it and enjoy it, but it's just not physically possible. So that's why Jared and I were like, we need to just release some online tutorials so that like people that want to do it can use it and they can access it anywhere in the world. And I feel like since COVID's happened, like we've like a lot of stuff has gone online because obviously you couldn't do stuff in person. So I think it's been great in some ways that it's opened up a lot for like people to just access stuff from the comfort of their own home.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds amazing. I think you won't know yourself with a new space and like a dedicated kitchen. It'll be, incredible.
I'm so excited to just shut the door and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're separate buildings, which is even better. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. So you won't be walking past your cake going, oh, I should just do this, I should just do that.
Yeah.
Because I know in the past from my own experience, I would, I'd pack up and then I'd get it all out again. And then I'd pack up and So now it's really nice. You can just shut the door and just be home cast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
Especially not baking in my own
Sounds really
kitchen.
exciting.
Mm.
So once you've got Jared there to help you guys will just fly. So it'll be really good.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. My ultimate goal was to have like a family-run business with us just running it. And like obviously as the kids get older, they can be involved in as well. So like, it's amazing that like something like cakes could turn into that.
Yep. Work smarter, not harder. That's the key. All right. Thanks so much for having a chat today, Cas. I really appreciate it. And so where can we find you? Is it just
www.cascakery.com?
Perfect. All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.